So now, I've got a special friend, this gentleman over here, called John Preistley from back on track where I've gone to, and he's got a very inspirational story. So I hope you guys watch and listen to his story. It's an interactive story, but he comes with a chair, and you'll see why in a minute. So I hope and if you've got any questions, you're welcome to ask him any questions as well, he says. So enjoy his little thing. I don't know if he needs a mic or not.
About 15 years old.
Good evening, everybody. I come along to events like this because events that raise money for the homeless and the problems in Manchester are very close to my heart. Because 3.5 years ago, I was rescued off the streets of Rochdale. I'll tell you a little bit about it, and I illustrate my story with the t-shirts from the various organisations that have helped me. So basically, I ended up through bureaucracy and benefit problems with it being evicted. So November 2015, I was freezing on a park bench in Rochdale. It was the Christmas lights, and I was called a dirty old tramp because I was taking some food from a bin. Basically what was happening, people were paying £2.50 for burger and chips, having 2 bites, chucking it in a bin. It's crazy the amount of food that's wasted these days. I just turned round and said there are 6 degrees of separation from you being where I am. Anyway, I was rescued by a total stranger who very kindly took me in. This was on a Friday night. He took me in, he gave me the food he was going to eat that weekend. He gave me a sleeping bag to sleep on his floor. Risked being thrown out of his place because he wasn't supposed to have visitors. And he took me to Rochdale Council on the Monday morning. I ended up in the place called Step. It's an emergency night shelter. They did a sort of a triage type thing on me. Worked out I wasn't going to be a problem, so they transferred me over to a place called Halsell House in Rochdale, which is a homeless hostel. I was there 3 or 4 days, and after 3 or 4 days, somebody came along and he gave me this. Basically, I had no confidence, no self-belief, so I was given this. Not useless. I said, I don't believe you. He says you might do in a while. So that's my first t-shirt. Basically what they do at Halsell House is you have a programme. You come in with like a rabbit in the headlights, you've got no confidence, no self-belief. After about a month you maybe get to stage 2 and you can go out and you don't have to come in for meals at certain times. It was like being at school actually. The crazy bit, for an aside, we're having a raffle tonight. Have you ever had a raffle for a shower? There were 13 people in this hostel, and what we had to do, we had to draw out a raffle ticket, and you got a half-hour slot for the shower. If you were lucky, you got a nice time. If you were unlucky, you got 3:30 in the morning. This is absolutely true. 13 people sharing one shower. So basically I was in a very good position, but it's a hell of a lot better than being on a park bench where it's -4, -5 and freezing. So you think I've got to step in the right direction. Anyway, after about 8 months, I managed to transfer to a place called the Limes. And where I am now is a complete difference, because what it is, I've got my own bungalow. I'm in supported housing. I can, thank you. What I do, I come and volunteer in Manchester, about 3 or 4 various charities that I volunteer at, and I started turning my life around. I was taken to a brilliant organisation that Garth mentioned earlier. There we go, back on track on Swan Street, been going 42 years helping people with homelessness, mental health, drink and drugs and offending problems. A brilliant charity in Manchester. And I went there and did a wellbeing and an art course. On that wellbeing course, we had one of these, you get a flip chart and you're to meet in and they do an icebreaker. They said, write down all your hobbies. So I wrote all my hobbies down. Somebody said to me, art, history, museums. You should be on the course I've just been on. I've just done a training course at Manchester Museum. So I applied for it. I did a 10-week course. Basically what we learned about handling and museums and all sorts of skills I'd never picked up in my life before. But I did a 10-week course, and after that we had a choice of 3 or 4 places we could do a 6-week placement. The place I picked was, let me find the right t-shirt, the Football Museum in Manchester. You might know it, near Victoria Station there. Basically I volunteered for that, for the England 1966 World Cup exhibition. I told them straight, I said, I don't know anything about football. I said, all I know is I was born in 1957 and I can remember watching the World Cup final in 1966. So, well, we've got lads in the 20s who don't know anything about that. You tell them about that, they'll tell you about modern football, and in a couple of months you will know something. So I went along and I did it. And I went along there and I was one of 94 volunteers. I was then promoted to be one of 4 supervisors, and this week I've just been promoted to a team leader. Back on track, I was told about another marvellous organisation. Let's just get this the right way round. There we are. Streetwise Opera. Basically, Streetwise Opera is a national charity based in London, Manchester, Newcastle and 2 other places. And it's a homeless charity, and basically you go along and you build up confidence by singing. And I can say I performed in the Royal Exchange Theatre, which is coming up soon. I'll tell you about that. Home, just up the road here. The Bridgewater Hall, Manchester Cathedral, singing with about 24 other brilliant people. Because basically what happens is when you meet up with other people who've been through what you've been through, you then realise I'm not totally unique, and everyone supports each other, and it's perfect. So Streetwise Opera got me into singing. And then coming up this July, get ready for it, there's going to be Manchester International Festival. That will be in July from 4th to the 21st. We had a chance at Streetwise Opera to do auditions for a play called Fatherland. Did anyone go to Fatherland a couple of years back at the Royal Exchange? No, basically what it was a play and they needed a chorus of 94 men from Manchester area. So we were split into groups of 3, we sang 2 songs and we did this marvellous like spider web type thing because the Manchester Royal Exchange is in the round. So basically I thought, hang on, I've just performed at the Royal Exchange Theatre, I was freezing on a bench, I'm definitely going in the right direction. What happened then, last year, Streetwise Opera, this is what I call chucking a pebble. You chuck a pebble and you get positive ripples. I was mentioned and told about the Museum of Homelessness. So I went down to London, I did an 8 days over 4-week training course, and I'm part of MOH Catalyst. One of 16 people, 13 were from London and surroundings, 1 from Liverpool, 1 from Newcastle, little old me from Manchester, and I've been picked for an art project. So what I'm doing art based on my story. So these t-shirts are going to turn into pieces of artwork, and I'm going to have an art gallery donating a room, and that will be coming up sometime within the next few months, so watch this space. And I've done 26 pictures so far, depending on the size of the room. Some will tell my story and they will stay, Some will be for sale, and the money, any money raised from that will go to homeless charities in Manchester. So I've gone from being homeless to helping the homeless by helping through the charities. And the thing is with this, when you do things like that, I won this little beauty last year.
Wow.
What that is, I was nominated by the Football Museum and Manchester International Festival for Volunteer of the Year. And there are 110,000 volunteers in Manchester. So it's better than winning X Factor. So I got awarded this at the Midland Hotel last November, which just shows to show, when you see all these homeless people on the street, what can happen to them. And it all adds up. Thank you very much indeed, folks.
We just want to say thank you to John. Can we give him another round of applause, please? That was a magnificent story, very informative, so much intel to it, and we're very thankful that you came tonight to share it with us all, because that's just going to inspire us now to do more and more and better for those who are actually in need. But thank you once more for sharing. Another round of applause.
66 motivational speech tonight.
Excellent.
2.5 years, and I dedicate it to helping homeless charities around Manchester, and the charities that help me.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, we heard 67, right? Which in the next few months, we're going to host another charity event. So you'll be here to inspire all again.
Definitely.
Once more. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.